Hello, and welcome back to the Crime Reel. For today's true crime narration, we shall be looking at the story of the Malaysian pop singer Mona Fandey. Masna Ismail was born in January 1956 in Kanga, the state capital of Perlis in the Federation of Malaya, now known as Malaysia. From a young age, she was always singing and dancing and was desperate to become a famous pop star. In the late 1970s or early 1980s, Masna married a man by the name of Muhammad Noor Affandi Abdul Rahman. He was more commonly known as Affandi. Affandi promised to help her fulfill her dream of becoming a pop star. Masna changed her name to Mona Fandey and with Affandi's funding made a studio album called Diana, and she also made several television appearances. However, after several years of trying, it became clear that Mona's pop career wasn't going anywhere, and the couple looked at alternative ways of making money. Leaving the music business behind, Mona turned to witchcraft. She became a Malay shaman and traditional medicine practitioner, interacting with the spirit world to heal bodies, minds and souls. Belief in this form of medicine was common at the time, particularly amongst the more superstitious of people, and Mona began offering her services to many rich and high-profile clients, which included many senior politicians at the time. These high-class clients would pay large sums of money for the couple's services, and before long, Mona and Affandi had become so successful that they were able to purchase multiple houses and luxury cars. One of their clients was a man by the name of Maslan Idris. Maslan was a well-educated, ambitious politician who was a state assemblyman in Pahang. His career was going well and he wanted to boost it further with the help of Mona and Affandi. In 1993, he approached the couple for their help. Mona managed to convince Maslan that he would be invincible if he had a talisman consisting of the cane and songkok, that is a black truncated cone-shaped cap widely worn in Malaysia. They also said that this previously belonged to the late first president of Indonesia, President Sukarno. For their services, Mona and Affandi charged Maslan 2.5 million Malaysia ringgit. This would be the equivalent of around £800,000 or in US dollars 1 million today. Maslan paid about 1/5 of this amount as a deposit and then gave the couple 10 land titles as a guarantee for the remaining money. Maslan had a further appointment with the couple in order for Mona to complete some cleansing rituals. When he arrived, he was told to lay on the floor face up whilst Mona placed flowers on him. She then told him to close his eyes and wait for the money to fall from the sky. At this point, the couple's 31-year-old assistant, Jeremy Hassan, struck Maslan repeatedly with an axe in order to kill him. The land deal which Maslan had promised the couple had collapsed and they wanted their money. The trio dismembered Maslan's body and buried it in 18 separate parts in a storeroom of an uncompleted house in Kampung Peruas, approximately 80 miles north of Kuala Lumpur. On the 2nd of July 1993, Maslan was reported missing after he had failed to attend several work functions. When the investigation began, it was discovered that one of his last acts was to withdraw 300,000 Malaysian ringgit from his bank account. After that, he had simply disappeared without a trace. Investigating police officers feared that the case was going nowhere when information suddenly came in a surprising way. Completely unrelated to the murder, Jeremy was picked up by police on a drugs charge. During questioning, possibly while under the influence of drugs, he provided information as to the location of Maslan's body. On 22nd of July 1993, police uncovered the body along with several knives and the axe buried approximately 6 feet below the storeroom of the partially completed house. It had also been sealed over with concrete. Mona and Affandi were arrested shortly after. It was estimated that Mazlan had been killed at some point between the 2nd and 18th of July. The police discovered that following the murder, Mona initially went on a shopping spree and then later bought a Mercedes-Benz and also paid for a facelift. Mona, Affandi and Jeremy were all charged with murder under Section 302 of the Malaysian Penal Code. This was a crime which carries a mandatory death sentence. All three pleaded not guilty. The trial began in front of a 7-person jury in December 1994 at the Termelo High Court in Pahang. It lasted 65 days with evidence provided by 76 witnesses. One of the strangest aspects of the court case was Mona's demeanour throughout the entire trial. She remained cheerful and smiling the whole time, wearing brightly coloured dresses and happily posing and smiling for the press photographers. She even remarked that it looks like I have many fans, something she had failed to achieve in her short-lived pop career. Her attitude and appearance were completely at odds with the vicious crime of which she was accused. The trial became somewhat of a media circus. During his time in court, it is believed that Jeremy testified against the couple and revealed graphic details of the murder, which I shall decline to repeat here. On the 9th of February 1995, the jury deliberated for just 70 minutes before delivering their unanimous verdict that Mona, Affandi and Jeremy were guilty of Mazlan's murder. As the verdict was read out, Mona and Affandi were still smiling. Their legal representative was asked if he wished to state any mitigating circumstances, but he declined, advising that they would be lodging an appeal. Jeremy's counsel stated that he was only 24, unemployed and of low intelligence. The three were then sentenced to death by hanging. After the sentence was read out, Mona replied stating, "I am happy and thank you to all Malaysians." As she was led from the court, she was once again smiling. The trio filed appeals to the federal court, which were dismissed in 1999. They then sought to obtain a pardon from the Pardons Board of Pahang. This was their final legal appeal. The Pardons Board refused to give clemency, so in April 2001 their fate was sealed. The executions of all three were set for the 2nd of November 2001. On the day before, Mona and Affandi were visited by their families, including their children from this and previous marriages. They were then given a last meal, which some reports say was a Kentucky Fried Chicken meal, whilst others say that they refused to eat. At 5:59 a.m. the following morning, 45-year-old Mona, along with her 44-year-old husband and 31-year-old Jeremy, were executed in Kajang prison in Selangor, Malaysia. An official stated that they expressed no remorse prior to their execution. Mona was calm and smiling until the last minute. It is reported that some of her final words were, "Aku takkan mati," which means, "I will never die." It is unclear whether she believed that she would get a last-minute reprieve or that her spirit would always live on. Just as a little bit more information, the case inspired a horror movie called Dukan, the release of which was delayed due to its controversial nature. Originally scheduled to be released in 2006, it was pushed back to 2007 before being postponed indefinitely due to being offensive to Mona's family. Years later, footage was leaked online and the film was ultimately released in 2018. That concludes today's case. Please leave any comments down below As always, I will be interested in reading them. At the end of the video, please click on the link to watch this week's petty crimes. Thanks for listening to the Crime Reel. Stay safe. Goodbye. Psst. Because of the way this case was handled, with the juries being involved for 65 days and 76 witnesses, this case ultimately contributed to the decision to abolish jury trials in Malaysia. Goodbye.